watching me do a BPE is probably the least exciting thing you're ever going to see, but here we go. So, what's a BPE?
Basic medical examination.
Exactly right. And what teeth do you do it on?
All teeth?
No.
No.
Not with
1,
wisdom
6,
teeth.
1, 1.
No,
Sorry?
I don't understand what that means. All these 1, 6, 1,
Okay,
1.
sorry.
You do it on all
Upper.
on the third molars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And where do you start? Doesn't matter. Just do it systematically though, okay? How many sites on each tooth do you do?
6.
Actually, it says, I'll tell you the answer. It says the BP has changed. So if you've seen it anything more than 6 months ago, you need to re-look at it. It's on the British Society of Periodontology website. It has changed, and also what age you do a BP score from has changed as well. Okay, because now they recommend you start doing it from 7-year-olds. Okay, so you don't use that probe. That's a Williams probe.
All is written in the handout.
No. This is an additional one because some people ask. Not really. Well, it's all literally written on the BSP. The most important thing is I'm going to show you how you do it. Yeah. So it's a ball-ended probe, WHO probe, a 0.5 millimeter ball at the end, and it's got graduations. So if you've got only one tooth in an arch, no, we haven't got anyone, but if you had, if that one was missing and only had a 7. How about if you only had a 4?
Could you go along with the graduations, which millimeters?
Yeah, again, on the website, 0.5 millimeter. This black band starts at 3.5 to 5.5. And then above that, you actually don't use the top one for the BPE.
Is this the WHO probe or the CPITN?
CPITN was a precursor to BPE, yeah? So that was a community plan on index of treatment need. In the UK, we do not use CPITN, we use BPE.
Right, so this is WHO probe.
It's a WHO probe. It actually tells you a very specific name. There's different WHO probes, but here it just says a WHO BPE probe. Light force, 20 to 25 milligrams. Okay, and they say you walk it around the tooth. So that doesn't mean you do that and that and that. It means literally you go on all the surfaces of the tooth. Yeah, like that. Run it around, and then onto the next one. Yeah. Now here, these black areas are supposed to be calculus. Okay, so if we go back to what the scores are, what do the scores go from and to? 0. What does a 0 mean?
No bleeding or probing.
No bleeding.
Healthy gums.
The black line does not disappear, i.e. no pockets greater than 3 point. Yeah, and what else?
No calculus.
No local factors. Yeah? So that will be a 0. What's a 1?
Bleeding on probing.
Bleeding on probing, but still no local retentive factors, and the probe doesn't disappear. What's a 2? Actually, again, the black, a 2 is the black band does not disappear, but there is localized black factors. What's 3?
Partially visible.
So the black band partially disappears, and 4?
Completely disappears.
Yeah. And what's an asterisk mean?
Vocation involvement.
Does it mean anything else?
No.
No, on the
Yeah.
current one, it doesn't mean anything else. But what you can also have is a number. So you can have 1 asterisk, or you can have 2 asterisks, or 3 asterisks, or 4 asterisks.
But the image that we got in for it
3
was at the
asterisks.
junction of it was just at the 3.5 mark. So what?
If you can see the black bit, yeah, it all depends on how hard you push. But hopefully it should be a bit clearer than that. Yeah. If it's,
What do you mean 3
it's
asterisks?
So 3 asterisks means that the black band is partially visible, but there's already furcation involvement. And I'll give you an example here. Yeah. So if you look at this tooth, I'll spin it around in a second. Yeah. That is a probable furcation. Yeah. But you do not have a very deep pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, sorry. Yeah, again. So that would be 3 asterisks. Yeah? I'll turn it around this way. So there, yes, exactly. Yeah, so you know you get those teeth which have previously had periodontitis, maybe, but they still have a tight gingival cuff, so not much pocketed, but you can see the furcation. That would be a 3 asterisk. So if you look here, black band partially disappears, but not completely disappears, and the furcation is probable. So that's
This
a
is
3.
one thing. When you're putting it in the pocket, you're measuring it from here.
You measure it from the gingival,
We check the
the crest of the gingiva. Crest of the gingiva. So
you
there.
go to the mesial end of
Yeah.
the tooth.
And you walk it all the way around. Now, it says you go for the highest one of it in each sextant, so they're split up into sextants. It says if you do a 4, you can move on to the next because you can't get higher than the 4. But it also says it's good practice still to do everything else. Make sense?
So asterisk no longer used for the one-rooted tooth.
No, before it used to say asterisk
Yes,
was
I
also
see.
related to clinical attachment loss, and it is not anymore. There's nothing related to recession anymore.
I'm really sorry, but I didn't get what the 3 asterisks mean. I mean,
But not a problem. So you treat them separately. So what does the 3 mean?
3 means that basically your black band is partially visible between
Yes.
3.5 to 5.5.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
If it's that and you have furcation involvement, then it's a 3 asterisk.
Yeah.
If you don't have
Oh,
involvement,
that's fine. I think it's asterisk. No. Oh, no. It's fine. It's all good. No.
So if I
Makes
show you,
sense. No. It's
yeah.
all good now.
So the BP, they gave you an example because
No,
that's
it's-
exactly what they thought. So you couldn't have that before.
Yeah.
But now you can. So dash. So if so tell me about this here, right? No teeth or 1 tooth.
1, 2, 1.
Yeah, because that could be added to here. Doesn't it? Or it could have a wisdom tooth there, which doesn't count.
If one tooth here and with asterisks, so you will have 2 asterisks here, 2 and asterisk, because one tooth the
I see. What,
add it.
I know. Well, I guess technically yes. That these are all guidelines. Remember, these are the guidelines for French. That to me doesn't really make sense, but technically that probably would be the case. You're right. So
What does this mean? 1 tooth?
so dash means that you're not going to give a score for there, which means there's no teeth, or there's only 1 tooth.
We can record the 1 tooth.
No, you
That
can't.
goes to the next quadrant. You add it to the next one if it's 1 tooth only.
Just
Yeah.
And if its score is higher, we will
You
record.
go for the highest. You put the highest score. So here, nothing or 1 tooth. Here, the band is completely visible.
yes.
They may be bleeding, they may not be bleeding, but there is a plot factor, localized plot factor.
But looking just at the BP, then we do not know actually which.
Exactly right, and that is why the BP is what is it? It's a screening tool. It's for screening. That's why you can't use it for diagnosing gum disease, and you can't use it for following up gum disease. Yeah. So
Question: if you get a 4 in
Yeah.
one of the sextants, you
Yeah.
don't carry on with the other teeth?
the BP says you don't have to, but you should actually.
But
So
if there's nobody there looking at us, you just need to write it down.
no, okay, fair enough. So 4 asterisks means that on one of the teeth, at least, the black band completely disappears, and there is furcation involvement somewhere. It doesn't have to be the same tooth, actually. 3 means the black band is partially visible, but asterisks. Here, black band is partial visible, but no furcation, obviously, anteriorly. And 4 means the black band disappears, but there's no furcation involvement. Yeah?
What's the second probe? Sorry.
This probe is not for the BPE. However, if you have, so it gives you some guidelines. Again, guidelines only. If it's a 0, what do you need to do?
Nothing.
No, never say nothing.
Oral
No. Remember, in the UK and in every, you don't get paid for doing nothing. You get paid to monitor. Okay. So the answer is monitor. If it's bleeding only, so it's 1.
Then
Or hygiene. If it's 2, more importantly, OHI first.
Yeah, and
Scaling
scaling
approach. Yeah. 3.
3
So it gives you some. But actually, it says for 3, if you have 3 in a sextant, you should then go and do a 6-point pocket chart, which is using a Williams probe and 6 points on each tooth.
No, but 3 onwards.
3 is a 3. It says for that sextant. If it's 4, it says full mouth. Yeah. And there are also guidelines relating to what radiographs you should take for that, which is a selection from Royal College of Surgeons as well. Does that make sense? Yeah. Pretty straightforward, and it says specifically you need to use 6-point pocket charting for diagnosing and following up, because this is a too blunt tool. This is just for screening.
So 3, just that 2. 6-point
Now it's
charting.
all on here, British Society of
4.
Periodontology.
Yeah.
I've just shown you the practical bits of it. Okay. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, for furcation involvement. Will you use furcation probe or the same probe?
No. For this a BPE, you only do with the BPE probe. That's a screening tool. When you want to further, then you realise you've got furcation involvement or whatever, and you're going to go back to a 6-point pocket chart, but then you need to work out what furcation you have, whether it's 1, 2 or 3, and for that you use a furcation probe, neighbours probe, some people call it, yeah? But you can't work that out from a screening tool, which BPE.
So you mean we can't check furcation
With
You-
either of these.
You can only tell if it exists or not with these straight probes. You can't actually tell on a lot of these teeth. On a lower 6 you might be able to, but on other teeth where there's a furcation which doesn't go straight through, you need to use a neighbour's probe to work out if it's 1, 2 or 3.
I'm still not confused about the picture that we had right now. It was just at the junction.
I don't know which picture. You'll have to show me that specific picture. If you can see the black band, if you can see the black band, then it's got to be.
Less than.
It's got to be. It's got to be a 3.
It's partially visible. It was at the junction of 2 and 3.
How can you have a junction with 2 and 3? That doesn't make sense.
This band, I think the margin was right here.
So
Well,
it
just
says
to
in
look
the black
at it.
band, it says, here you go, and I'm going to refer to this specifically, black band entirely within the pocket. So if you can see the top of the black band, then
Because if it's partially visible, then it will be 3. If it's visible completely, it will be 2.
Yeah.
should be 2 years in that case.
then what? Yeah, I don't understand the confusion.
But
Will you show me that? Because obviously there's something you're confused.
Fatima, I kept it here.
You show me specific because we're going to do all the other tutorials now. Okay? Right, guys. Great. Off you go.